everybody, it's Hope from Hopefully Cosplay, and I need to go through some of the project boxes that I've had in storage that haven't really been looked at in a little while, and I thought it could be like a motivational organization video that we could do. So what I tend to do for my projects, these are things where I've actually purchased or otherwise found the materials that I do want to use for a project, but that I never get around to actually doing it. There might also be some heading in this video. And I put them in individual little shopping bags. I usually write the name on it, and then I have 2 boxes full at this point, well, mostly full, and then I've also got some in my my fabric stash that are just sitting on top of my fabric scraps. So I'm gonna at least get them consolidated down to back to just the 2 bins. If I can get them consolidated down even more, that would be awesome. So let's take a look at what I used to have planned and see if it's something I still want to do or not, and whether I can repurpose the fabric for something else or if we're just gonna get rid of it. So hydrate and paddings. No, I'm opening that one. I'm opening that one right now. Okay, so first one says Leia Poncho on the bag. So this is for Princess Leia on Endor. You can see that I also store other things with it. So like here is a shirt that I had bought to be her undershirt under the vest, vest poncho that she wears. And then I have a nice big hunk of fleece in this kind of mottled green color. I believe the intention when I bought it was I could get some spray-on fabric paint in brown and add the brown spots that she has. And then I also have pants that honestly I don't know if I can fit into anymore, along with the bias tape that I was going to put down the legs on those. She has a yellow stripe down the leg. So I am probably going to throw the pants into the donate pile. Again, I really don't think these are going to fit. I've put on a little bit of weight since I got these. So that is going to be donate. Bias tape I can repurpose. Woo! The shirt I will try on, see if it fits, and if so, if there's anything I think I can use it for, even if it ends up just being a wear to work shirt. So I'm going to put this in repurpose as well. For the poncho material, I might still do this cosplay. I'm not entirely certain. I don't know that I'd want fleece as my poncho material though. I don't want to just trash it. It's a lot of fabric. It's uncut. So I might try and resell it if I'm not going to keep it. So not a great start to the video, me being very indecisive, but I am going to create a pile right there. It's going to be my indecisive pile. I fear what size that's going to grow to. Next project. Hydrate. Oh look, receipts so I can see how much money I spent on things. Throw that away. This one actually does not have a label, but I think I already know what it is from what I can see through the bag. I tied this one good and tight. So we're going to rip the bag on this one. And it is what I thought, which is last year I was inspired by, don't tell me how much I spent, by a pumpkin spice latte unicorn that was drawn by an artist that I follow. Not drawn, actually was sculpted, but I decided I wanted to do a Lolita cord based on that design. This is actually a dress, a very short dress that I found at the thrift store that had just little, I'm not sure how well you can see them, but just little like brownish, gold brown, whatever, polka dots all over the very creamy orange fabric. So I definitely want to do this one. In fact, it's one of the reasons I'd gone to get my project boxes, because I think I would like to try and actually sew this year. So I have that material. I have 2 different creams, because I think I'd like to have some two different colored cream ruffles and skirts as part of my idea. And then, of course, an entire jar of teeny tiny pumpkins, because I'm going to put them all over my cord. So, I would need to get a new bag for this one, except I'm probably going to actually leave this one out entirely and actually put it on my project desk. So it's going off camera, it's going over here. Okay. Next bag. So, I have some glow sticks. I know exactly what this is. This is a fire fairy that I had been trying to make. I was going to make some big wings that were light up. I was going to make the wings look like flames. I had fairy lights that I wrapped around them. I got probably about halfway through the wings, and I could not get them to a point that I really liked them and wanted to continue. So if it's something that I decide to revisit in the future, it's gonna be completely redone. So I'm probably going to donate or repurpose everything that's in this bag. So, glow necklaces, and I think there was some other glow stick stuff in here. Oh no, just these. So glow necklaces. I am looking at possibly doing a rave version of the character for later this year, so I'm going to repurpose these for that. Repurpose pile. Hi. I had neon yellow fishnets for this one. I'll need to see once again if these still fit. Oh, it does say plus size, so actually they probably will. May or may not also get repurposed for that rave character. And then the last thing was a tutu that I'd been planning to put underneath my red dress for this fairy. Not really jiving with the rave outfit that I have in mind, but I'm also already tossing around the idea of a couple other rave outfits. So once again, I might see if it fits, if I like it. It's not very long. These aren't supposed to be, they're pure decoration, not coverage. So I'm not sure. I think I'm gonna try it on, but there's a good chance it will end up in the going away pile, whether it's donated or sold or what have you. So I'm gonna put it in repurpose for now, because I've got basically almost like a try-on pile going on in the repurposing pile. So trash. And then now I have a bag that I can repurpose to another project if needed. I'm fine? Yeah? Okay. This says Fluttershy, and just looking at the fabric, I can tell it's actually the leftover fabric from when I made my dress. So I'm not getting rid of this because I actually have some more items I wouldn't mind doing for Fluttershy, and I always just like having more fabric on hand when I've used it for something. So what I'm going to do though is probably just put this in my scrap bin, and I'll leave it in the bag with the mark that it's Fluttershy, and that way I know that's what the fabric was used for if I need to go back and use it again. Do not bite that. Next, it's not in a bag. This is a half-finished mermaid tail for a fin that I don't really use anymore. It's not going to be wide enough to go over the fin that I do use now. So I will put it in the giveaway pile. I'll probably post in my mermaid group and see if anybody wants that just for freebies. Stop chewing on stuff! You're going to get locked out. Okay. This is a big bag. What's this project? It says Steampunk Caterpillar, which is probably the next thing I am going to do. So I'm not going to leave this one out like I am with my pumpkin spice latte coordinate, but it's definitely staying. I know I have lots and lots of tiny tiny scraps in this one because, so I want to do a steampunk version of Caterpillar from Alice in Wonderland, and I know for a fact that I want it to be just gaudy and trashy as all heck. When I was first conceptualizing this character, I was trying to figure out, okay, in a steampunk world, what would be the job of the Caterpillar? And I finally came to the conclusion that he wouldn't have a job. He is a complete fop. So that's kind of my plan, is to be completely useless and fabulous as the Caterpillar in a steampunk world. Do not chew on that. So lots and lots of blues and golds and just pieces that I'm going to piece together. I actually do have the underskirt for this already made. I've worn it with my mermaid pirate outfit a couple of times. So things have happened, but very, very slowly. I would really like to try and finish it this next year for Whimsycon 2020. We have some gold lame in here. Whoop, whoop. If I have enough, I'd really actually like to make spats out of this. I have some blue boots, and my thought is to then have gold spats on top. So all of it's going to be blues and golds. The other thing that I had already gotten as well was a plastic hookah. I'm going to paint it up so that's gold and blue and all gorgeous. But I wanted a plastic one so that I could carry it around without any problems at a con. Yeah, a lot of the rest of this is just more fabric scraps and a few more notions and things. Some nice blue stripes. I'm actually thinking I might make some knickers out of this. Have like really long knickers so you can still see them even under the skirt. And then this I'm planning to do just as a little overbustle, this nice brocade, I don't know how it's pronounced, but look how pretty. So that is my plan. I would like to finally actually work on that one and get it done this year. Gold buttons, some blue suede lacing, some gems, some other like steampunky stuff. So it's, yeah, much more gold fabric scraps, mostly that gold lame, which I actually stole out of a friend's scrap bin. We did a scrap swap. Oh, here's, actually, I'm going to pull this one out too, just because it's so pretty. I really hope that I can piece something out of this, because it is pieces. It's out of my friend's scrap bin. But look at this beautiful, just gold on gold detailing that it has on there. Ooh, shiny lights. Okay. Alright, so that's going to go back in the bag. And be kept. Okay, and since I'm most of the way through this bin, I'm going to pull out the last couple of projects, set them on this one, and put this project back in here. And there we go. Takes up a lot of room. Spandex. When you're a mermaid, you have just a giant bag labeled spandex. This will probably end up going in the scrap bin, similar to the Fluttershy dress. Yeah, it's a lot of spandex. Most of it seems to be larger pieces. I know I have some literal like scraps of spandex already in my fabric stash. These seem to be either uncut or mostly uncut, so I could actually make like a full mermaid tail out of probably any of these three colors. I've got yellow, green, and red. The yellow and green was actually originally for Rogue, and then I ended up just buying a bodysuit, and it was so worth it. So, gonna keep that. I know I have some other mermaid tails spandex around here somewhere, so I might set this. I'm probably going to set it with the Fluttershy fabric. And we'll deal with that. You might have to move. Might lose your spot. We have stuff coming in. Okay. This one says Amaretto Fairy. So the first year that I joined the Spirit Sprites, or the Booze Fairies, at WhimsyCon year before last, I actually did Amaretto instead of, and you know, this year I debuted Kraken, but originally I had done Amaretto, because I do love Amaretto. This is actually a curtain that I had found that I used to make the wings. They were very gossamer and pretty. I'd had the thought at the time, I'd kept this in the bag because I'd had the thought of remaking the wings. I wasn't happy with how they came out, but when we kind of rolled back around and I was starting to think about Spirit Sprites again, I decided I didn't really want to do Amaretto again. I wanted to do something else, and I went with the Kraken Fairy. So I'm going to put this in the scrap bin as well for now, because it's a good bit of fabric, and it is a nice sheer gauze. In fact, now that I think about it, it's this nice dark cream, like almondy color. I might throw this in with my my pumpkin spice coordinate material, because this could be a very pretty overlay for that. So see, this is why I'm doing this. I knew I could repurpose this stuff. Alrighty, so there's that. No, so a large piece there. And a bag if I need it. Last bag in this box, and I've only put one project back in this box. I pulled one out because I plan to work on it more or less immediately, but yeah, almost everything else got repurposed or just tossed. So I'm seeing green spandex. It's already serged. Oh, it has pins in it. Ow, great. Is this a tail? Doesn't seem to be. Oh, the intention was Mermaid Jupiter. But honestly, looking at this is clearly one of the first mermaid tails that I tried to sew on my own. It's kind of a wreck. So since I still have lots of green spandex, as we just established, I am going to reclaim my pins from out of here. Any more? No? And I'm just going to trash it, honestly. Unless someone wants to try and repurpose the spandex for something significantly smaller, there's not much to be done with it. The seams are awful. So, trash. Okay, let me get these pins somewhere safe where they cannot be chewed on. I'm looking at you. Okay, so yeah, we went through the entire first box, and I am keeping some of the things, but as far as things that I actually still intend to do a project in near future with them, only one, or technically two. Again, I pulled one out because I intend to do it like now. So, let's start with the other box. We're halfway through. Well, not quite, because there's also some in the fabric stash. Okay. So here's some more of the spandex that I knew I had. So I have two different shades of blue right here, and this is just spandex. The intention for this is a mermaid Vaporeon, which I would still like to do at some point, so I am going to keep this. Let me see what else is in this bag with it. I want to say it's probably my other mermaid tail material. It is. So this one is actually blue scaled material. And the intention for this one was Aquarius from Fairy Tale. So it's Aquarius as in, you know, she's a representation of the actual zodiac symbol. She is a mermaid, and so of course I wanted to make a mermaid version. I'm not entirely certain if I'm still going to do Aquarius. I'd like to, but I feel like I'm so behind in making mermaid tails, especially since my shoulder's been messed up for almost a year now and makes it a little painful to swim. So I'm definitely going to keep this because this is spoonflower fabric. It was expensive. So I am going to at least keep it for now and say maybe I'll still do it. don't hold me to that, but maybe I'll still do it. I think I have it written on the bag. I do. It's written on the package that it came in the first place. It says Aquarius. Stuff that in there. Don't know if the outside bag had anything written on it. No, I didn't see one. I'm gonna put these back in a bag just because I like things to be protected. So that'll be my Vaporeon. Like I said, I do still really want to do that. Marker. I'm just gonna write on here. Okay. Here, play with that. So, Steampunk Caterpillar, 2 different mermaid tails. BB-8. So this is some stretch fabric of BB-8 design. I made myself a skirt out of this years ago. There's not enough left to make another skirt, but possibly a small something. I'm going to put it in my scrap bin. So it used to be that I like to keep things that were large enough to make something separate out of my scrap bin, and I kept literally just scraps in the scrap bin. And I've kind of changed my, I'm gonna try and change my focus there. Where if there's not a specific upcoming project, and it's just something I've used from the past and I want to keep it around, I'm going to put it in the scrap. So, next up, this is some Disney licensed Tangled Rapunzel sheets that I found at the thrift store. It's just this very nice pattern. It doesn't scream, hey, this is a Disney thing. It's just a nice floral. My intention had actually been to make Rapunzel PJs out of these, and I was going to do like a cute PJ photo shoot. I'm actually not that interested in doing that now, because since then Wreck-It Ralph 2 has come out, and now all of the Disney princesses have like official PJ outfits. So I'm less interested in it at this point. I'm going to toss it right over here in the get rid of pile. So, another sheet that I had. I know what this is for. Seriously, I do. I must. It's a nice deep teal. I know that I had intention when about, oh, Star versus the Forces of Evil. I was going to do Star Butterfly's dark teal dress. I honestly don't know if I'm going to do it. I've been saying for years that I'm going to do it, and it would be cute, but I think I could also probably buy it at this point. I think it's just widely available. So, yeah, I think I'm going to toss it in that repurpose pile, the get rid of pile. I could repurpose it into just about any other item of clothing. I do love this color. It, quite frankly, looks very good on me. But I don't foresee myself actually sewing something out of it. I don't like to sew all that much, shockingly. I picked the wrong hobby, but I just don't really see it happening, so I'm going to toss it over here and see if someone else can get some good out of it. Okay, so this project is, Sailor Howl. So, a friend and I should say a friend had the idea of doing Sailor Scouts, but she wanted to do Studio Ghibli characters, and so I asked, could I join you? So she was going to do Sailor Totoro, and I was going to do Sailor Howl from Howl's Moving Castle. There's a lot of stuff in here. I've got Yaya Han's Sailor Scouts pattern. I'm pretty sure I've got basically everything I need to make this. I have the receipts to tell me how very much I spent on it, and I don't want to look at those. So, I am still interested in doing this project. I don't know how realistic it is that it will happen. What I will probably do is follow up with my friend. She hasn't been cosplaying for a while now. I joked when I said play with it. She hasn't been cosplaying for a little while. Her health hasn't been great. So I might follow up and see if it's something she's still interested in. If not, I can definitely repurpose most, if not all of this, either for myself or sell it to friends. This is all brand new, bought from Joann's, high quality stuff. None of this is, oh, I found this at the thrift store and I'm going to try and do this out of it. It's actual uncut material. So I'm going to keep it for now. And after some of my big, huge, crazy projects that I definitely want to do, we'll see if or when I come back to that. Okay. I'm not gonna say what this one is. All I will say is it's something I am still interested in doing, but it's going to take a good bit of sewing work, so I still don't know if I'm going to do it soon, but I want it to be a surprise if I ever do. So I'm not going to say what it is, but I am going to move it into that box. Okay, next one. Steampunk Jupiter. If you couldn't tell, Sailor Jupiter is my favorite growing up. I realized later in life that I actually identify more with Sailor Venus, which is why she's the one that I've actually cosplayed at this point. But so that's, I had a lot of, you know, when I first got into cosplay, a lot of, ooh, let's do this with Jupiter kind of plans. I don't know that I'm going to do steampunk Sailor Jupiter at this point. I'm probably more likely to try a mermaid version instead. Pink thread, can always use that. That is exactly the color of my ballet slippers, and I'm actually really mad now that I didn't have this. And these are some nice oval rhinestones in multiple colors. I can definitely repurpose these, so both the thread and the rhinestones are going to go in the repurpose pile. And then this is many, many yards of fake velvet, uncut. So I will see if any of my friends wants to maybe buy it off of me. And of course, this one's the one that I don't have a receipt for in there. What I'll probably do is get an estimate about how many yards it is, see what it's going for at Joann's, ask people for a little less. So if anyone watching wants some green fake velvet, I'm going to be selling some. See if I can at least recoup that expense. I'm going to keep it in the bag because it's nice and I want to actually sell it to people. And someone is very curious. So let's keep that in the bag. But put it over there. I'm almost through box number 2. Go me. A couple of things here. These are actually pattern pieces. So it's not a future project. These are past projects. These are the pattern pieces for my Clawhauser feet. I actually bought those big, like, monster slippers that you can see at Walmart. Obviously, hot pink when I found them. And I seam ripped them, took them apart, and used the pattern pieces to cut out fabric in the right color and reassembled them as Clawhauser feet. So that's what these are. They're probably in with the projects, same with this simply because they're a little more bulky, so I don't know that they'd actually fit with my pattern stash as well. And ergo, they're probably going to stay here too. So, we're doing that. These patterns are from when I did my Warrior Venus armor, which everything fit poorly. It was bad. I actually ended up throwing that armor away, despite the hours and hours and days that I spent on it, and even roped my husband into helping me on it. It was not well. It was honestly probably too much of a project for my first armor build. And in light of that, I don't think I'm going to keep the pattern pieces. I think if I ever decide to try and retackle that project, we're going to have to completely start from scratch. So these are going to get tossed. Sylveon. Aw. So my first evolution was Sylveon. I didn't have a theme for that one. It was literally just putting together a Sylveon outfit, and I still really like that Sylveon. I did it pure and simply because I was excited the new game was coming out when we had a new Eevee. I have a printed out quick and easy shoe cover tutorial by Pokemon Master Kimba in here. I'm probably going to toss this because it's probably the exact same shoe tutorial really that I can find just about anywhere online. I didn't even remember it was in here, so I'll probably just use an online resource instead. I will recycle that. Oh, and a reference image. If you could, nope, it's still too washed out. It's a picture of Sylveon. I'm going to recycle that as well. So these, once again, these are going to be technically scraps. There were some other pieces that I had been planning to make to go with my Sylveon outfit. I never got around to it, and at this point, I don't think I will. So I'm going to throw this into the scrap bin instead of projects. Oh, these are burp cloths. So this is not actually a cosplay project. This was a personal project. I had several friends having babies. And so I found a cool pattern online to make really good burp cloths. I've heard from several of those friends since then, most of which are now on to their second child, that these were some of their favorite burp cloths. So I can certainly provide that to anyone who wants the pattern. It's not my pattern. It's, I found it online. But I was making them out of nerd materials too. So one side is terry cloth, and the other side is nerd fabrics, such as Star Wars. But this is the basic shape. It actually goes, you know, has a round cutout basically for your neck, so that then it'll actually stay nicely over your shoulder. And so these are just some that I'd had cut out, but never, terry cloth, no. I'd had cut out, but I never actually sewed them up. I have some in some puppy dog prints as well. So I will probably sew these up. I don't know when, but I probably will still at least sew these up and give them to a new mom at some point. I don't know how many friends are left that are going to be new moms, but you might get a burp cloth made of nerd material. And now I'm covered in terry cloth. Woo! Alright, last bag in the second box, and I already know what it is from the color. This is again one of my early on cosplay really big ideas. I'm actually still interested in doing this one, but I don't know how much of the original stuff I'm going to keep. I've actually already gone through this one on a previous project purge in the past. And a lot of the materials actually got taken out and just thrown into my general materials bins. There we go. But it's a chocobo, so I was going to do the beak as kind of a mask idea, masquerade, and I wanted to have just the beak covering it, because I actually don't do well with masks that really cover my nose and mouth. So that was my idea, was this masquerade mask where I could attach the beak. I already painted it yellow, as you can see. And then I was going to do a dress, zipper and thread, awesome. So I have some light yellow fabric that was going to be mock-up material, and then some uber bright yellow fabric for the actual outfit. And gosh, this is really shiny stuff too. I really don't know that I would use this. I might be more likely to use the mock-up material, except it's not quite the right yellow that I would want. So while I am still interested in making the chocobo, I think I'm going to repurpose or get rid of the fabric as well, and choose a fabric that I like better. Although actually I'm looking at the wrong side of this yellow, so the right side is this very, very shiny satin fabric. Again, this was early cosplay days. I have since learned that shiny fabrics don't photograph very well. You generally want to avoid this extra high shine. just washes you out, reflects the light too much, and it can look really cheap. It also tends to be hard to iron or steam, even of these materials, and that's just because of the way the material is. However, the wrong side is not looking too bad. I might consider doing the wrong side, especially because my idea now for doing the, I don't know if I said it, yeah, chocobo, yeah. I couldn't remember if I told you what the project actually was. My idea for trying the chocobo now is to actually see if I can maybe do some harpy style wings, in which case I would need a fabric to make like pretty much each individual feather for the articulating harpy wings. I'm not entirely sure if there's enough of this for that, but there might be. There's definitely not enough here for that and a dress based on my current size, though. Yeah, there's a good amount of fabric here. So we'll see. I think I'll keep this yellow for now. The mock-up yellow I don't think I would use for anything except possibly a mock-up, but I have a lot of sheets around at this point that could be mock-up material, so it might get tossed into my mock-up fabric pile, but let me stop. But at the very least, I think what I'm going to do is put it with some of the other sheets that I've decided are no longer going to be a dedicated project. And now that I've unfolded this, let's try and get it back in the bag. Oh my, oh Hope, what do you do with yourself? I'm gonna be bad, and I might fold this off screen later. Don't hold me to that. But for now, let's just shove it all back in the bag. Oof, yeah, see, this is the other reason I don't know if I'll actually use this material. There's a lot of fraying going on at the ends, so we'll see. I'm gonna hang on to it for now. I'm gonna put my mask back in there. I'm gonna put the zipper and thread just with my regular stuff. I used to like to keep those with projects, and at this point I'm like, no, I can find it, or I can find a color that's close enough. Keeping matching threads with projects I found also made me buy more thread, because I didn't realize that, oh, I already have that color, or a color that really does work well enough. So, we've gone through 2 boxes, and I have 1 box left of things that I'm going to actually still more or less plan to do. So that's nice. The last thing here is my fabric scrap box, which I've already put some stuff on that I pulled out from the others. But I know that I have a couple of fabrics that I have found since then that got put in here simply because there was no room in these. So let's see what we have in this one. Aha. I'm going to start with this one because I know what it is. This is Jedi Jolteon, and this is actually moving more towards what I'm doing now with the pile that I just pulled out of. It's a project I've already made. I kind of want to keep some of the fabric around in case I need to fix something, but doesn't need to be in the projects I want to make boxes. Similar, this is a mermaid tail, and this as well. They're actually the same mermaid tail that I've started working on. I'm not sure if that one's getting finished either, but it's in my closet, not in here. Stop chewing on that! So again, this is correct. I've already cut out what I need of these fabrics, and this is just me keeping them in here in case they're needed. Same with this one, King Candy, Clawhauser scraps. This looks like Madame Mim. It is Madame Mim. Go me. As well as Ariel, apparently. So those things, and then now I'm hitting actual scraps. So I think there's just a couple. Oh, this also is Snow White. So that one's not needed, and this is the terry cloth from those burp cloths that I was telling you about. This is all the extra terry cloth that I had, because I was expecting to make a lot more, and I'm lazy and I hate to sew, so I didn't. So, actually I'm going to pull this out because I might see if anyone on my friend list wants to buy some terry cloth or even can just use it. That might just get given. So let's look at, I have one other bag. Really? Awesome. Go me. I only had one. Where's the rest of my stuff though? I know I had more fabric sitting on the top of this. Well, regardless, let's see what this one is. Oh, this is tulle, the tulle booty. As well as some shiny white fabric. This was actually some fabric that I got from my mom last Christmas because I had still been looking at maybe trying to make my Cinderella gown, and I ended up just buying that, and it was, again, so worth it. So I don't have a project for this, since it is a nice big hunk of white fabric. Again, I'm going to see who needs it. This is a nice white, I'm guessing organza. If not organza, then something very organza-like. And once again, I think I might pull this out for my pumpkin spice latte outfit in case I decide I want to go with something brighter rather than that cream that I found from the amaretto wigs. So this was the point of this. And then there's just boatloads of tulle. This has jewels on it, and the other one is just plain tulle. I want to keep these. These are, I will always use tulle at some point, I can pretty much guarantee you. So that one's being kept. The kicker now is, will everything that now technically belongs in the scrap bin fit in the scrap bin? I don't know. I might get rid of some more stuff. Maybe try and actually toss some of the scraps that obviously are not going to get used at this point. Some of them are decent size like this. This is a good scrap. I could still use this. Somebody could still use this for something. Especially since it's spandex, that could be a glove or something right there. But I think I'm going to go through this and get rid of some stuff. And I think it's going to be too crazy to record. So I'm going to let you guys go. Thanks for hanging out with me while I pretend to be productive. It's sort of productive, right? Yeah, it's productive. Come here. Come say bye. We're signing off. Meow? No? Okay. Say bye. That's it. I just want to chew on stuff and be petted. Alright, so I will load this and let you guys just see what a wreck I am. Alright, thanks guys.